everybody, welcome back. This is Retro Rewinder, and this is part 2 of my MagFest, part 2 of my MagFest videos. In this part, I'm going to do a kind of a quick summary of the panels that we went to and the vendor hall. So, let's just jump right into this.
Are they? Nice. Look at those body pillows. Check that shit out. Look.
Where? Tell me.
1, 2, 3, 4. You see them?
I mean, you gotta still register. There's Pinocchio.
I want to talk about is the panels. I actually did not go and see very many panels. I only saw 3 panels the whole time we were there. I looked into going to some of the other ones, but there wasn't a big draw. I was really hoping for some more YouTube stuff of people that I watch personally, and there wasn't a whole lot of that kind of stuff. But the 3 panels we did go to, they went, in my opinion, worst to best. So the first panel we all went and saw was it's basically garbage, boring. It was a panel about making your video games last, and if anybody dabbles in this hobby, they knew all the stuff they were going to say. Keeping your games in the cases, keeping protective stuff on boxes. It was stuff that everybody knows that wants to preserve their games. And that was the name of it. I could not think of it. It was preserving your games. The panel was really boring in my opinion. The whole pacing of it was off. It was Rue and Norm. Rue from Clan of the Grey Wolf and Norm from The Gaming Historian. I didn't think that they interacted with the crowd very well. A lot of the people were in the crowd. If you're watching this and you were in the crowd and you said a question, you were most likely an idiot. So some of the most ridiculous stuff I've ever heard. When they started talking about, discs and disc rot, one guy said that if you play a game over and over, the disc reads the same place, the laser reads the same place on the disc and creates a hole. Just stupid stuff. One guy said that you can actually, if you have a dead Super Nintendo battery, you can plug it in to your Super Nintendo, let the, system run, and it'll charge your Super Nintendo battery. I wonder if that will work with other things. Holy shit! It didn't work. So that was the first panel. Not much to say about it. Like I said, it was my least favorite. The second panel we went to was a lot better. It was the Video Game Years. So if any of you have ever watched the show on YouTube, the Video Game Years, that's what it was. It started off really slow. They did a Video Game Years live where they picked games into the future, like the 90s, and just talked about them on the fly, without the editing and the thought process of thinking about what you want to say. I didn't think it was as fun. It was kind of slow. They talked about some other stuff that I don't even remember. It was a lot of boring stuff in my opinion in the beginning. The part that it started getting really good is when they started doing previews for upcoming clips that are going to be in the Video Game Years. So all of us got a first look at some of the upcoming clips, and man, I must say they were pretty good. I enjoyed those a lot. And then they did a Q&A, which again, I thought that was pretty good. So the second half of that panel was awesome. I liked it. The first panel, not so good. The third panel was the best by far. It was the Tom Fulp and the Newgrounds panel.
Tell him to blow him and get it over with. Jesus.
For you that don't know, I was one of those people. Tom Fulp is a game developer who developed Alien Hominid, Castle Crashers, and I believe there's another one. But he also developed the website Newgrounds, which I had heard of it before but didn't really know what it was. And it's basically a sharing site for a variety of media, games, Flash animation, all kinds of different stuff. So he created that. So the whole panel was based on him talking with 3 other gentlemen that I do not remember their names, talking about Newgrounds. And it was really interesting. They talked about a lot of financial stuff, dealing with YouTube versus websites like Newgrounds, ad funding, really interesting stuff. I thought that was the best. JCAU99, I know that I wasn't going to say any names, but it's very important to the story of why we went to Tom Fulp's panel. JCAU99, Josh, and Tom used to be on a website together called Prodigy. So if you want to know more about that, he'll probably talk about it in his video, but the only thing I'm going to say is he knew him, so we all wanted to go, well, two of us, and Josh wanted to go watch that panel because of the interaction they had when they were younger. So that's why we went to that panel. So it was really interesting. They did Q&A pretty much the whole time whenever somebody had a question. That was like the whole basis. It was basically a big Q&A. The guys were very funny, bantering back and forth with each other. A top-notch panel, and if anybody ever gets to go to a Tom Fulp and Newgrounds panel, I don't know how often they have them, I would go. It was awesome. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the actual vendor hall. So I do have some footage of walking around the vendor hall, so we'll put that in now. So the vendor hall, not my favorite. I'm going to compare a lot to Milwaukee since that was the only other convention I've been to. The vendor hall at Milwaukee blew this vendor hall out of the water. If you like video games and you like buying video games, do not go to MagFest. Everything is overpriced. We're talking $70 Dreamcasts. I can't even remember all the ridiculous stuff. Just off the wall prices, super bad. And they don't have a good variety. The only thing that I was personally looking for was TurboGrafx games, and I found a whopping 0. That was the only type of games I wanted. I asked multiple vendors, and they said they didn't bring them because they didn't think people would want them. Some of the vendors didn't have them at all. Milwaukee had a ton of them. They had a wide variety of Jaguar and 3DO and CDI and TurboGrafx, PC Engine, Famicom, Super Famicom, anything you could have wanted was pretty much at Milwaukee. Here, I think there was 3, maybe 4 vendors, and that was it. And their variety was shit. I was very disappointed. If I knew that I could have got some of those prices, I would have taken a lot of my stuff to sell there. And probably could have undercut all of those vendors by half and still made more profit than I would normally make.
We should have brought shit. I should have brought shit. We should have got a booth. Just sat right over in the back.
How much money would you make if you had your own booth?
If I had my own booth, I'd be making probably about $1,000 a day. Well, comparatively to these prices.
For the rest of his life.
How much money would you make if you brought a booth?
I don't know, man. Yeah, probably $1,001.
$70 Dreamcast.
How much money would you make?
This is ridiculous. Oh fuck. If I knew what my stock levels were, I could tell you. But right now, I would say at least $1 million.
$1 million. So the vendor hall, in my opinion. So this has been part 2. I hope you liked the video footage, and again, this is my personal opinions. Some people might have loved the vendor hall and the panels. For me, not so much. This has been Retro Rewinder. Check out part 3 when that's uploaded, because that's going to be a really good one, and where I talk about my favorite part, meeting YouTubers. Again, thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.
in Canada. It was made in Bangladesh.
And Rich's shirt.
Eternal Darkness.
It's got a patch, like a
Nice.
belt
Party wagon.
Very nice. If you had your own booth here, how much money do you think you'd make?
A couple $1,000.
Couple thousand?
Easily.
You're in second place.
Easily, because I would just undercut it. I wouldn't be selling them for as much as everybody, and everything would be gone. I've done it back home. I think I made 4 hours, like $900.
Holy shit. I've caught an elusive beast on camera, Josh. He's looking at me. He knows